Welcome Homeworthy. My name is Ruth McKeaney and we are back on Hillside Farm. I'm so excited for today's episode because it's all things fall and I love the fall. So we're going to start out with Leslie, who you know creates magic everywhere she goes. She's going to help me transform the front porch into everything worthy of literally harvest and kind of Halloween. So she's going to make that exciting. Then she's going to help us do a pot with different pumpkins. Anyone can do that on any of their porches. And then we're going into the kitchen where I'm going to make an apple cake and an apple crostata. So please join us and I hope it inspires you for fall. I'm Ruth McKeaney and this year I'm inviting Homeworthy to join my family for all of our annual highlights at Hillside Farm, our 305-year-old farmhouse steeped in history and love. After decades of flipping houses, my husband Bob and I settled here where we raised our 5 children. We welcome your company as we share in the simple pleasures of life at home. I'll offer tips from my book, Hungry for Home, to help infuse your own home with moments of joy, filling home-cooked meals with flavor for the whole family, and of course decorating with amazing antique finds. So sit back and make yourself at home.
This fall, Homeworthy is all about the season's magic. We're stepping inside homes transformed by autumn's colors, where pumpkins aren't just decorations, they're statements.
We went to the auction in Pennsylvania and brought 4,000 pumpkins back, and I have them all on my stoop, and the neighbor's stoop, and the other's neighbor's stoop, and the other neighbor's stoop, and my backyard.
Where shadows and candlelight mingle to create a hint of spookiness, and every corner tells a story.
And so the theme of this was friends are coming over for a nice dinner. It clearly turned into a bit of a bloodbath. We have some candles and some transitional pieces throughout. There's like teeth and guts.
From extraordinary Halloween displays to cozy gatherings at home, we'll explore spaces that feel both enchanting and inviting.
For the tablescape today, I really wanted to capture all these deep sort of jewel tones for fall. These gorgeous reds and deep purples. They really are rich and inviting.
Plus, in the kitchen, we're celebrating the flavors of the season with dishes that bring warmth, comfort, and a touch of whimsy to the table.
Remember that fall isn't just about the foliage changing, but it's about the mood changing even in the house. And that has to do even with what you're cooking, right? So today we're going to make a really moist, fabulous apple cake.
So light the candles and enjoy our autumnal series, because nothing says home like a little spook and a lot of heart. You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hey girl, look at this. You're ready.
I am.
Oh, I am so excited that Leslie's here because we kind of talked about, do we do a totally harvest front porch or make it more spooktacular? Yeah. And I think she's got an amazing combination of both.
I do.
I mean, look at all this. Okay, first of all, where did you get this?
So I got this, my neighbor cut down these glorious trees, and I was really sad that they were cut down because they were the oldest trees in our neighborhood. And basically they needed to be cut down though. So I saw these all piled up, so I went and met my neighbor because they're new to the neighborhood. And I was like, can I please have your roots? And they were so cool. He's like, I'm a builder.
Oh,
I
wow.
love
I
what
mean,
you're going to do.
Look at this.
How spooky.
How spooky is that?
So kind of my inspiration for your doorway was Snow White when she's going through those spooky woods and like the vines and branches are grabbing onto her. And I wanted to incorporate pumpkins and gnarled roots and branches and fall foliage. And then we have some touches of glitz with our grapevine pumpkins that have a little sparkle light to them.
All right, well, so let's go look at, see what we're going to transform here. Because right now it is still very summer. In fact, I still have my ferns.
They're beautiful.
They're beautiful, but they're coming down. So and here's why I love it. Here's one of my Tip Tuesdays on Tip Tuesday on my Instagram, Hungry for Home. These aren't in the pots. No, Bob actually planted these. Usually they're still in the pot and I just lift them out. So anyway, we're gonna transform this area. I'm so excited. So I'm gonna go inside and start cooking an apple cake. So if you
Sounds great.
smell it from inside, that's what we're cooking.
Amazing.
And then we will come out and check with what you're doing.
Sounds great.
All right, awesome. Welcome Homeworthy back into the kitchen where I think is the heart of the home. And fall represents to me, you know, I was talking with my son last night. When he thinks of fall, what does he think of? Besides the fact that it's getting darker earlier, I think the whole mood of the house shifts a little bit. It shifts from being constantly outdoors till 10 o'clock at night to starting to cozy up. And what does that mean? And for us, like, I love candles. So candles are ordinarily, I light them from the time sun goes down or even before through the evening. And we even have smells. I have smells going in my house all the time. And if they're not candles, it's a pot with apple cider and cinnamon and cloves and maybe a slice of orange. And I've got that going literally from maybe 2 weeks ago until March. So remember that fall isn't just about the foliage changing, but it's about the mood changing even in the house. And that has to do even with what you're cooking, right? Because you don't really cook I don't really make apple cake the rest of the year. I do it a lot in the fall and winter, but not in the summer. So today we're going to make a really moist, fabulous apple cake that you can have as a snack in the afternoon with some tea, or you can have it after dinner, or you can even splurge and have it for breakfast. So here's what you're going to need. We're going to start out with, let's see, 2 cups of sugar. I've got 2 cups. I'm just going to throw that in here. I'm going to put all my wet ingredients in here right now. And let's see, we've got 1 1/4 cup of oil. Now, it calls for vegetable oil. My kids have me off of vegetable oil, so I'm primarily doing avocado oil or another kind of oil. And one of the things that is fun about this recipe, you're not going to be chopping up your apples. And mind you, I use Granny Smith apples whenever I bake with apples, whether it's an apple crisp, an apple pie, apple turnovers, or this apple cake, because they're a crisper apple and they're more tart. And I like a little bit of a tartness. So we're going to take this grater and I'm going to grate 3 apples. Makes it really easy. Just use the bigger side of your apple grater. All right, so we've got the apples grated. And before we go any further, we need to add to this, let's see, I've got my little recipe all written down. We've got orange juice. So go ahead and put about, I don't know, 1/2 cup to a 1/4 cup of fresh orange juice. So what I did is I took an orange and I squeezed it. Only use a 1/4 cup. I used a 1/2 cup when I doubled this recipe. Then we are going to take 3 eggs. And since I got them out of our egg coop this morning, 1 small, but 1 is very big. So I figured they'll balance each other. All right, and it might even be a double. It was a double. But I'm still gonna treat it like it's 1 egg. While I mix this, I'll tell you about our apple tree orchard. When we first bought this house, in the front of it, it used to apparently a couple hundred years ago been huge gardens, and those had really kind of disappeared. And so we took it down to where it was just dirt. Literally in front of our house was all dirt. And this is when we were fixing up our house. And during that time, my cousin David was racing across America in a big race. And he has 6 kids. And I had the privilege and honor of watching his kids. I think I may have only had 5 of them while he was racing. I think we might have had him for 10 days. Well, when David came back, and all the kids, they jumped in helping us. We painted the sheds. We were painting everything. There were mounds of dirt outside of our house. And when he came back, as a thank you, one day I was outside working, and up pulls this huge semi-truck. And Bob was like, "What's with the semi-truck?" They had sent, as a thank you to us, 8 Honeycrisp apple trees. So we made an alley of apple trees in the front of our house. And his family had sent a video message to us that said, because you and your family bear fruit for so many other families, we wanted to give you these apple trees. It was probably one of the most beautiful gifts I've ever been given. So that's the story of that. All right, here we go. I need to do my vanilla. A teaspoon of vanilla. So just a little splash like that. Anyway, to think through gifts like that last a lifetime, and I'll never forget that story, or the video their entire family made our family. All right, so we've got all the wet ingredients, and we are going to add some stuff. We have a teaspoon of cinnamon we're going to add, and we've got, let's see, a teaspoon of baking soda, half a teaspoon of salt. Let me mix that. And we're going to add our flour, which is 3 cups of flour. This apple cake, oh, it is so good. All right, 3 cups. Now, what you can do is add some coconut, which I do have a little bit of coconut. It keeps the moisture in it. So it's a really great addition. If you don't like coconut, you don't have to do it, but I do like it. And you can put about a cup of coconut. I will probably just do about a half a cup, but you can go up to a cup. Let me just just some flakes. Okay. I think that's it. And now I'm going to, and you never use a mixer with this. All right. What I've got to, let me make sure needs to be 325, and it's going to cook for an hour and a half. Don't overcook this. All right, and now we've got the 3 apples. And I like that it's grated. It makes it so much easier to incorporate. Now take your pan and go ahead and grease and flour it. Got a greased and floured pan. You can also do this in a bundt pan or even a tube pan, but I think I just decided to do it in a cake pan. But if you want to serve it at something, you know, like something fancier, do it in a bundt pan or a tube. All right, 325 for an hour and a half. In the meantime, your whole house is going to smell divine. So we'll stick this in the oven and we'll see you back. One of the things that I love about Leslie, honestly, you're a teacher. And so she's going to walk us through what exactly she's going to do to transform this and how she's going to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So as many of you might know, and some of you might not, I'm actually design manager for the company Terrain. So,
actually, I don't know that we've ever shared that. So I don't know. But if you are not familiar with Terrain, get familiar. It's where I get every bit of inspiration that I have for this property, in large part next to Eileen. But for pots and things like that, I can't think of a better place to get inspired.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So she's their design manager. So literally she comes up with everything you see in that store. So what is it you're going to do?
So what I'm going to be doing is creating the perfect pumpkin tumble.
Okay.
For here. So we have these lovely steps. And basically my job is to come out to people's houses and do their porches and to do their containers, their holiday decorating. So we are taking this opportunity to decorate Ruth's porch in the perfect pumpkin tumble with a little bit of spook. And that's what's so fun is having a friend like this. She gets to practice her inspiration right here. Absolutely.
And so that we get to get ready in case we have people over or something. So when you say pumpkin tumble, what are you saying?
So we're going to make it, we got tons of pumpkins. Mm-hmm. We're going to make it so pumpkins are literally just tumbling down your steps.
Okay.
And we're really excited this year because it's a package that we're just starting to offer to people.
Okay.
So basically, you can have me come out and do this at your place.
She would do it at your house.
Absolutely.
And I don't know that she'd be able to find the big branches that you're putting up. What?
No, you're getting what we call a custom piece. So I also
Okay.
do custom pieces and large scale installations for people. So that's not in the package rate, but I can do it, no problem.
She'll fall asleep at night thinking about something that she can create. So what are you going to do up here?
So what I'm going to do is make it look like there's a spooky tree kind of growing out of your corner up and over, and then having pumpkins kind of spill out around the roots. So I've got roots, I've got grapevine that's going to be going into this installation. We have some lights, we have lit pumpkins, and we've got some spooky crows.
Okay, so let's see. We're going to watch. We're going to come back out here in between me cooking a apple crostata.
Ooh.
I know. I don't know who's having the more fun. And while she does her pumpkin spill.
All right, so first we have to clear summer off of the porch so we can get fall installed. So I'm going to take these lovely ferns and we're just going to put them aside so she can plant them later. And then I'm going to leave these in place because I might toy with them a little bit, but I'm definitely going to take the plants out of them. And then next I'm going to go through and kind of set my branches in place. That way we can get an overall shape of what things are going to look like. So here is our first really spooktacular root system that I absolutely love. I literally pulled over on the side of the road from my neighbor and got these. I just think it is the coolest thing. And it's the perfect structure to have kind of going down your stairs to meet up with the pumpkins to make it that little bit of extra spooky. I love doing a harvest themed pumpkin spill as well, but we're getting a little bit further into October. So usually a lot of my clients will have me do harvest for September and then transition into a little bit more of a spooky scape for their trick-or-treaters. And that just kind of sits perfectly. So when you're working with natural materials, I kind of let them do the lead. I let them feel out the space and we just kind of set that down and it's sitting perfectly. So it's gonna stay. So gnarly. So I found this in Ruth's barn. It's a little cauldron and I just think it's so perfect for what we're doing. So it also gets to stay. Now for my tree, I'm gonna be taking this and I'm gonna be putting it down on the other side. I might do it a little bit up and we're gonna be using some super heavy duty zip ties to set this in place. So it's really important when I do people's patios that nothing gets damaged or hurt. So zip ties and command hooks are something I use constantly. That way we're getting the structure we want, but it's always changeable and nothing is permanent. How cool is that? What a cool shape. Can't believe someone was throwing this away. All right, so now I'm gonna go grab some zip ties and it's kind of leaning perfectly. So now I'm gonna zip tie it into place. So trick of the trade, when you're setting up this kind of thing on the porch, pillars are amazing. Let me just start off with that because you can build anything off of a porch with pillars, but you wanna make sure you're picking zip ties that match the pillar color, not the wood color, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna hide the zip ties with some moss so you won't be able to see them. Clear zip ties you can still see. So because this one is white, we went and picked up white zip ties. This way we only have to hide where it's showing on the wood and it'll be a perfect spot for moss. And then I'm gonna zip tie it like this. Now you want there to be a little bit of give because you don't want it to, like I said, hurt or damage anything. So this is pretty sturdy as a thing in general, but I just have it like this so it's not pulling into the paint or damaging any of the wood. So now that I have this established, I'm gonna go ahead and build up so it kind of ends up looking like a tree. So we've got this big rooted piece that kind of looks like the root system. I have this trunky piece. And then I'm gonna take this and go up and over. So we're gonna do this a little bit in the middle and kind of have it like that. It has this bend in it, but I think that's really cool. It kind of looks like gnarled witch fingers. I think I'm gonna stick this down. There we go. And kind of nestle this in. And then I'm gonna zip tie this into place. I just wanna make sure I'm kind of getting the right shape. So that will be good right there. And now I'm gonna zip tie. Perfect. So I'm gonna keep layering some branches in, making this structure look even more whimsical. And then we're gonna start layering in our pumpkins. So I'm gonna then place this up top and we're gonna kind of bring it over to where the flag post is. So I'm gonna go hop on a ladder and then do that. And then the line of the tree is gonna kind of be out here and then a little bit out to this side. And then I'm gonna take some grapevine and I'm gonna take it around this side so it kind of looks like a woodland that's being taken over by a vine. And then we'll add in some pumpkins, which will be gorgeous.
Okay, we are back from being outside and watching a magical world begin, and we're gonna do our own magic, and that is with an apple crostata. You know, it's funny, I was sitting there last night going, is it an apple galette, or an apple crostata, and what's the difference? It's the same thing. I had no idea. Anyway, did my own little research. So an apple crostata is basically, all right, let's say you might wanna do an apple pie, but you don't have the top. It's very similar. It's a rustic kind of tart pie kind of thing. We're gonna have the pie crust. We're gonna dump a bunch of apples with their seasoning and butter, and we're gonna fold the sides of the crust all up on it and bake it just like that. The fun thing about it is you could make them individual sizes if you want, or you can make it for a big group for a big splash. So I think because we've got company staying with us, I'm going to do the bigger version. Actually, last night Bob said to me, what are you making for dinner? And I was like, well, we're gonna have a couple of apple recipes. So hopefully he brings us something with some protein. Okay, we're gonna start with the crust. This is my very, 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 very favorite crust recipe. It was given to me by a friend named Jillian, who was English, from England, and was a caterer in the area. And I used to go out and help her cater occasionally. And once before she died, it was so cool. She had a whole bunch of women over and she made an apple pie with this crust. I use this crust for all my quiches, for my pies. I mean, it's so versatile and it is so good. And the great thing is when you make it, put it into a ball, put cellophane around it, put it in a Ziploc freezer bag, store it in your freezer. 6 months from now, if you want, pull it out, thaw it, and you can use it as your crust. So if that, I mean, that's one of my tips for people. I have a whole freezer full of balls that I bring out for quiches and all sorts of things. And you can find those tips on Tip Tuesday on my Hungry for Home Instagram page. I do a tip every Tuesday. All right, so we're gonna do the crust. We're gonna start out by taking 1 1/4 cups of flour. 1 1/4 cups. I'm gonna put it in a Cuisinart. There we go. And I'm gonna take a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and I have a tablespoon of sugar. I'm gonna dump those in there. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is mix that before I add the butter and the shortening. That just makes sure it's all incorporated. And my machine latch is broken. I use it so much, so. All right, from there, what we're gonna do is I'm going to take 6 tablespoons of butter. Now, as you know, every stick of butter has 8 tablespoons, so just cut off, and the great thing is there's a measuring thing right there on the side. Just do it at the 6 tablespoon mark. Cut it up into pieces, and we're gonna throw it right into there. This is the easiest recipe, I can't even tell you. All right. And then I take butter Crisco. They're in sticks. They're in the baking section, but make sure you get butter. And then I'm going to take 4 tablespoons of this, and see, there's a tablespoon measuring, and I'm going to cut 4 tablespoons. And sometimes what I do is I just do a line right there, so then when I take the paper away, it's there and I can just cut it. It's just an easier way to measure. After it gets all incorporated, take 3 to 4 tablespoons of ice water. Just keeps everything, you don't want this getting too overworked or cold. So 3 to 4 tablespoons. And what I do is I kind of just estimate. Less is more to begin with. You can always add more. Yeah, I might add just a little bit more. All right, that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see it start to form a ball all on its own. And I pull it out. I mean, it's as easy as this. If I were gonna put it into a freezer, I would literally take it like this, put cellophane over it, put it in a Ziploc baggie, store it in my freezer. It'll stay perfectly good. All right, so here we go. I've just got some butter on a board. I'm gonna take out a rolling pin, and I'm gonna roll this out. Oh, my dad's gonna be happy. My dad lives in the little guest cottage on the property. I'm gonna make sure I call him over because he loves anything that has apple in the title. So whatever thickness that you're wanting. And then I'm going to set this off to the side because now we're going to do the apples. All right, here's my secret for apples. I had a bunch of recipes today that I was making with apples. What I did, a dear friend was over earlier and said, "Can I help you? Is there anything you need?" And so she went ahead and peeled a whole bunch of apples for me. We stuck them into a bowl of water. That'll stop them from browning. So I knew I had several hours till I was cooking. So here we go. We're going to take 3 apples, 3 good size apples. I mean, you could do dunking for apples right now. And we're going to chop these, and I would say dice is a better term. Maybe 1/3 of an inch each piece. You don't want it too small. So here's the thing. When we just grated the apples for the apple cake, it's fine if it all turns to applesauce in the cake. That's really the point of it, to keep the moisture. But you don't want for an apple pie or an apple crostata for them to all turn into applesauce. That would not make for a very pretty presentation. So you want them to be bigger chunks so they don't cook too fast. Does your family have favorite things in the fall? I think anything baking in our house is a fall comfort food. And because we have the apple trees, I'm telling you, I think one of my favorite things to anticipate in the fall is watching all the kids outside picking apples with big baskets and making applesauce, which is fun. Or even just delivering fresh apples to friends. All right, but you know, here's a fun fact about apple trees. They do not create apples every year. They sometimes skip a year or two. So right now, that was something I had to learn because there was a year I was like, where's all the apples? Have our trees all died? All right. Here's something else that happened with our apple trees. We had a massive storm come through one year, and it took down 2 of our trees. The apple trees, literally, the roots were kind of near the surface, so they took them all the way over, and the whole root base was out from underneath the ground. And I was in tears. I mean, I love these apple trees so much. And but we got the tree people to come. They replanted it and didn't skip a beat. I think fall, too, for me, it's a great time to make family recipes that you don't maybe ordinarily make. I hope you consider doing a family cookbook. I'm going to show you ours, besides the one that I did. My great aunt did just for the family. I'm going to show you right now. One of my great aunts did all the artwork, and the other great aunt, who was a cook, did all the recipes, and that's her handwriting. So to each person in the family, again, both great aunts participated and did such beauty. I mean, I couldn't do that even on my best day. But the importance of passing down your recipes, it passes down your culture, your family culture, and it passes memories down. So think about it. All right, so we've got the apples all cooked. Now we're gonna put them into this bowl. That cake is smelling really good. I'm just gonna look at it really quick. It is almost done. All right, apples are going in here, and I'm going to toss in with it a 1/4 cup of white sugar and a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. I'm going to toss it with my hands. And then I'm going to put in 3 tablespoons of flour. And the reason you put in the flour is it's going to be a binding agent, because when the apples start to cook, plus you have the butter that we're going to put on top, you don't want all of a sudden literally apple, sludge going everywhere. Okay, I smell it. It's time. This thing is glorious. I can't wait to cut into that. Okay, so here we go. We are going to do a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/8 of a teaspoon of allspice, cloves, and salt. So here we go. And yes, I need glasses. 1/8 of a teaspoon. And 1/8 is a small amount, but these are strong spices. All right. 1/8 of salt. Now mix all of this up really well. And if you want, I might even let's cut up a 4th apple, because this is a big pie crust and I want it to be really filled. Again, what I like about it is you can do whatever you want. You want to add more, you add more. It's also a great time of year to take your kids apple picking. There are orchards everywhere. So take them out picking apples. All right. My favorite is Honeycrisp. All right. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm bringing over a pan that I've covered in tin foil, and I'm going to I took my rolling pin, and I'm going to roll it out, just like that. And then I'm going to take the apple mixture, and I'm going to dump it right into the middle. Leave a few inches on all the way around it. And then I'm going to take butter, which I have right here. You can use 3 or 4 tablespoons of butter. I'm going to chop it up onto the top. I think I might need a little bit more butter. What we're going to do is we're going to take the pie crust, just like that, like it's in a pan or something. And I've got the oven going at 400 degrees baking. And then I'm going to, and you can fold it over kind of pretty, but nothing about this is supposed to be pretty. It's a rustic tart for a reason. I'm gonna go get an egg and I'm gonna do a little egg wash. Okay, so we open an egg, another large egg, and I'm gonna add a little bit of water. About a tablespoon of water to the egg. Go ahead and mix that egg up. And then you're going to take something to baste it with. And in the event you can't find your baster, you just take your fingers. I know, but my hands are clean. And you just wipe it all on top. This is what's going to give it a golden brown kind of look. All right, this is going to go into our oven at 400 degrees for 40 minutes. I mean, 2 apple things going. It's going to be the best night ever.
So I just finished getting all of these gnarled roots and branches in place to make our spooky trees. And now I'm kind of working the pumpkins in. I have a wheelbarrow full of heirloom pumpkins and a ton more other pumpkins that we're going to be making the beautiful spill with. I love to work with a mixture of all of these heirloom pumpkins. The colors, the textures, they're all really, really cool. Sometimes I'll do people's houses where I'll do all in white, I'll do all in orange. But for this spooky look, I picked kind of the ones that were these colors, the greens, the oranges. I have a little white sprinkled in, but I really loved some of these textures. I have some with like covered in warts. I mean, how cool is that? So we're gonna take these and mix them all in. And then what I'm gonna do is add in some of my grapevine. We're gonna connect it to some of the tops of the pumpkins so it looks like it was a pumpkin patch that just kind of died off in the first frost. So now I'm gonna start placing some more. Whenever you have steps like this, I always take the pumpkins and I work them in at all angles. So you don't wanna have a boring pumpkin stack just kind of up the stairs. You wanna make it look like it tumbled and spilled. So you're gonna take these pumpkins and you're gonna put them on their side as well and kind of just have it so they're peeking through at these angles. Right, so that one's like that. So it's gonna kind of look like somebody took the wheelbarrow that I have and just went boop, and it spilled all naturally down. You see how I'm kind of like intermixing these with some of the roots so it looks like they're growing through. Now over here I have kind of some muted tones and this is a different color story. So now I'm gonna start blending them together. So it's a little bit of everything. And then some of these would honestly be perfect for your Thanksgiving table as well. So some of these, like this one, you can kind of hear and feel that it's already drying. So this will last till next year. I have some of these perfectly preserved. I make like little bird houses out of some of them. And some of them are just like really great for drying. We have kind of a white one down, big white one down here. So you never want it to be like too matchy. So because it's here, I kind of like to work at a cross angle. So I'm gonna take this and kind of place it up here. So it needs to be a little tilted. I'm like constantly adjusting things. And then we'll fill in. The name of the game is to add. When something doesn't look right, that's okay. Nothing in nature is perfect. Just keep layering and layering and you'll get the look that you want, especially when it comes to a more maximalistic thing like this. something else to think about when you're doing your pumpkin stacks and your pumpkin tumbles and your pumpkin spills is that you want to make sure that you don't have too many dark colors and too many light colors. So something I like to do if I notice a really dark spot in the arrangement is I'll throw in a white pumpkin, and that will kind of brighten the whole area, or a bright orange pumpkin, because that will kind of balance everything out. So I also love these traditional pumpkins. They have such character, such color. Everybody loves a good jack-o'-lantern. I also love to eat my pumpkin seeds. I'm a huge fan of scooping and then baking what's inside. Look at this super gnarled stem. It's got a lot of curve to it. I love working with pumpkins that have weird stems. I think it just adds to the whole piece and the whole character. And that's why we're also going to be attaching some vines to the stems to make it look more of a pumpkin patch. So now that I have some of these bigger ones placed, I'm going to start adding some vines, some roots, and some smaller pumpkins to fill in some of the gaps, because I want this to be like a really cool spooky entrance for her. And then we're going to kind of make it come out even further. So I'm going to go grab some more stuff. So this is another piece I found in my hide, my like little spot, which I thought was super cool. It looks like either a burl or a knot. It's very similar to what I made my bathroom sink out of, if you follow me. It's just got such cool texture. I thought it would mix in super well with the pumpkins, and it almost looks like a pumpkin. It has a little stem, just like these guys. And we're just gonna keep building out anything that I can kind of throw in as a natural element to shift the pumpkins so they're not flat on their bellies. How cool is the pattern on that one? It has like little stripes. Now we do this for all kinds of things. We do this for weddings, we do this for events, we do this at people's homes. So, and we also come off-site for all these events too. So if you wanted to hire us, we'll be happy to come out to do whatever you need us to. How cool is that? All of these pumpkins are bought locally. We go to the Amish country, and everything is purchased at pumpkin auction. And it's a really cool place that you kind of bid on all these crazy pumpkins that are grown, and everybody wants them, and Terrain kind of gets like a lot of the really good ones that are being sold, because sometimes there's only like a few bins of the prize winning pumpkins. So I have most of my pumpkins, my larger pumpkins, placed at this point. So now I'm going to kind of come in and add some of the vines. I'm going to place a few more roots, and then we'll do some vines, because I just have some that are just still so spectacular. This is such a great project if you have kids, to have your kids kind of like tumble around the pumpkins. You don't want them lifting the heavy ones, but I'm about to do a bunch of babies, and how fun would it be with your little toddler to just like have them toddle around with these crazy pumpkins. And you can always mix jack-o'-lanterns in this too. It doesn't have to be just plain pumpkins. You can pick a few out of the bunch to carve. Like I would maybe carve this one and this one with the kids, just so you have like little bits of illumination. My kid is just a wee bit too young for that. But as soon as he's old enough, he'll be carving. My last few. So we'll add in vines, and then we're gonna pepper in all of the smaller ones. And how crazy is that looking? How spooktacular. So this is grapevine. This is all over everybody's yard. It's the thing that is taking over your trees and that you want to get rid of. So get rid of it and use it. So I love to use this in holiday and especially for fall. It comes in these crazy bundles if you want to buy it. But like I said, go in your yard. Just go cut it down. It's probably up your pine tree. Your pine tree will thank you for it. And I'm going to just kind of tuck this in and around to make it look like this. Ooh, is a pumpkin patch. So also, if you're working with this and it's being a little stiff like it is now, you can soak it. But one thing I love about using this is it has this natural loop to it, and that's kind of the look I want, which is why I'm not going to soak it. I'm just going to stick it. There we go. Fun. Now I'm just going to keep layering this in and around the pumpkins to make it look even more like a little haunted pumpkin patch.
All right, it is totally ready. I do want to say though, you know, I was watching Martha Stewart's documentary, I think it's on Netflix, and her tagline, which I never knew, is perfectly perfect. And my tagline, in fact, my whole family started laughing when we were watching it because mine has been for years, perfectly imperfect. So today's an example of that because ordinarily this goes into a bundt pan so that you can dump it out and it's beautiful. But I did it accidentally in this, which is going to taste the same. It's just not going to look the same. Just don't be afraid to make mistakes in the kitchen. It's all good. All right. This is the best cake. It is so moist. Oh my gosh. It is so delicious. Oh my gosh, all the steam is coming off of that with a cup of tea late in the afternoon. The other thing I wanted to revisit that we spoke on earlier was the importance of remembering recipes of your family. I can't think of a more special Christmas gift that you can start to prepare even now by going to your aunts, even your uncles or your cousins or your grandparents and collecting all of their favorite recipes. You don't need another great aunt who's a beautiful artist to do it. You could get one of your kids to draw, you know, if it's a cookie recipe, draw some cookies on a page. Or you don't need pictures at all, but take them to a place like Staples. They'll bind it for you, and it is such a special gift for you to give to the next generation at Christmas time. So I hope you start to think about it now because you can have it done by Christmas. All right, let's go check with Leslie. I think she's done with the front porch, and I can't wait to see it.
He's gonna go in there. So now I'm just kind of going through, adding a bunch of the finishing touches, which are moss to cover the zip ties for where we connected. I went ahead and cut off all like the tails or taily posts because it's Halloween, and put them all in. Then we added one of my favorite things to use, which are these grapevine pumpkins that light up. So I have them placed. We have these beautiful terrain pots on either side of the door. So I just kind of worked it in. I didn't want it to look like a snowman. So we kind of like angled them at different angles and they're all facing out and they all light up, which is super cool. So then we added in to make it a more elevated look. Like a lot of people use straw bales or hay bales, but I love to design with some pine straw bales. So I have them in place. They're just a more rich color. They give it more of that autumn spooky look versus the harvest. They go really well with harvest too, but it's just what was gonna work perfectly for this. So they're a little bit in back. And then we added in some beautiful lanterns up here with some pillar candles. And something that I always do in my lanterns to make them also a more elevated look is to put, at fall I always use leaf scatter. Now do not use leaf scatter if you are using live flames, but if you just want the look of a melted candle with leaf scatter, it's perfect. Or if you want to use, we sell like really fabulous flameless candles, flameless pillar candles. Then you can have the look of a flame and the leaf scatter and you don't have to worry about a fire. So that's kind of what I did in here. So I'm just gonna go around and put moss a few more places. Then I'm gonna go and add one more.
It's unbelievable. I'm
One
sorry,
more
I'm
of my
walking
little
around.
friends.
I'm walking around with my own. I mean, look.
So I'm gonna add
Oh, you have one. Where are you
little
gonna add
crow.
him?
I
This
think
one?
I'm gonna add, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's add him right there.
I love it. Isn't he cool?
So this is a great way to have a more naturalistic versus
incredible.
like some people do the inflatable thing for Halloween. That's fine and dandy, but some people want like this more natural look.
Yeah. Well, it's as natural as you get. This was cut down yesterday.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
The crows are not real. They are not natural. But everything else. Pumpkins are locally
Wow.
grown, locally sourced.
Wow.
So I'm gonna add, like I said, a few more pieces of moss in. And Ruth, do you want to add the last few
Yes.
cutie little pumpkins?
I did all this, yeah.
It's just so fun.
Yes.
So as you can see, I kind of have them scattered through, but I left this little area up here.
Okay. Oh my gosh, this
All right.
is incredible.
The final pumpkin is just gonna get placed in here. Varying the sizes of the pumpkins makes all of the difference. One more thing that will make this just the best thing is Ruth had this cauldron, which I didn't know about. But at some point, I think
Dry ice?
dry ice would be just the perfect thing to have this spooky kind of fog over. Maybe we'll AI generate it for you because we don't have it, some dry ice. So here it is. Imagine it spilling out. Maybe
Can
we'll
you
do that
imagine
for
the
you.
dry ice coming down like
Yes. To
I
make
mean-
it just extra spooky.
this? I don't think I've seen a better front porch.
So the last thing I usually do is like salt bay it, but with leaf scatter. So I take it and we're gonna go.
Do you crunch it up?
You can if you want to, you don't have to, but this way every single piece is used. And just like literally, now it's extra spooky. And here we are, the perfect spooktacular pumpkin patch pile.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
Wouldn't you want to trick or treat here?
Wow. I'm still trying to get over every detail, even the moss that
Yeah.
climbs all
I
the
have
way
to add
the
a little
top.
more. Actually, now that you're saying that, I forgot this one spot. 2 spots.
Oh, you can't miss one spot.
Nope. You know me.
Okay, now we're going to work on something with planters. And you know, in the fall, and we've done another episode on this with all the fall colors and how you can go monochromatic and you can use grasses and leaves. But there's another fun thing you can do with your planters that I was going to go ahead and have Leslie walk us through. And that's with different shape and size pumpkins. So, all right, what do we need to have before?
Absolutely. So we are going to do the traditional pumpkin stack. So, but we're going to take it a little bit higher than a lot of people do. Most people do 3 pumpkins. We're going to do 5 pumpkins, and we're going to mix in some natural materials like, you know, I love to work with.
Yep.
That way it kind of has a different look than if you just dry stack 3 pumpkins. Now, I'm going to give you some of my tricks as well. So one of the best materials you can start with is pine straw. So you saw me just use this on the porch. This is a bunch of really long pine needles, and we're gonna have it fill our container. So,
Do you want it coming off the edges?
So what I do is I kind of like make a little nest with it, and then we're gonna kind of spread it out like this. This is gonna be really nice. You'll see me also, I will use it actually in between the layers of the pumpkin. This helps keep the pumpkins from rotting as quickly, but it just like adds a little aeration between the pumpkins. But it also is just a really cool look.
It's a great look, and it's much better because usually I've got the regular straw out here.
Oh yeah, no, the
and
pine
this is
straw
a
much
really
better.
cool. Okay.
So actually, I really love to use it. So when it's had its course through here, before I switch over to winter, I do use it somewhat in winter, but not a lot. I will actually take it and I'll use it to mulch in my blueberries and anything else that likes a little bit of acidity. So it's really
so
nice.
you don't waste it.
Oh no, nothing goes to waste. So this is here. Then we're going to take our pumpkins and we're gonna stack them. Typically, you usually use the biggest one on the bottom, and then you work your way up. And then we're gonna add in some
Moss,
metals.
metal. Oh.
This is a really cool metal garland that we sell. It's creeping, Virginia creeper. And it's just like these beautiful autumnal colors. And we're gonna have that kind of trailing down. What you wanna do is you wanna have some more flat pumpkins. If they don't have a stem, that's perfect. Some of them, you might even have to rip the stem off. And then we're gonna layer the pumpkins up, and then you always wanna make sure whichever one you have on top has the cool stem. That way you've got something to add things onto. So you could do all kinds of really cool things with pumpkin stacks. You can go ombre, you can have them all one color, you can mix it up. Because we're a little more into the season, I really love the rich oranges.
Okay.
If it was September, maybe go with white.
Yeah.
Maybe go with some
Or
of the
like
pastel
when we had
ones.
Avery's wedding last year, we did all white pumpkins here.
Oh, gorgeous,
Yeah, it was really
gorgeous. So now that we have our nest built,
great. Is the orange the biggest?
we're gonna take this orange guy. He has a funny butt on the bottom. What, actually, that's gonna be perfect.
It's gonna help actually.
Because he's going to kind of make it stand. Now
we had ferns in here and we just cut all the ferns out. So
you just kind of nestle it in until
it doesn't
sits.
wiggle too much. Okay.
So then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add
Pine
a little
straw in
bit of
between?
pine straw in between. So same kind of thing. You just want to kind of layer it in. I always like how it has these long shapes like this to be towards the front.
Okay. It's interesting.
So then we're gonna take our next pumpkin and we're just gonna place it on top. Now you want to kind of turn it till you can find a spot where it sits nicely.
And it's not
And
gonna
that's
fall.
not wiggling too much. Now, it's wiggling a little bit down here, so that's where the mood moss is super nice. So you can take this and kind of stuff it under. How's that working?
No, it's tipping the front.
So we'll just keep adding this around. Another name for this is pillow moss, and there we go.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So that way, you know, it adds a little bit more of a natural detail. And then we're gonna do it all again. We're gonna take this. Once again, you're gonna kind of have that spot where it bends up front. And we're gonna add in our next pumpkin. So a lot of people will stop at 3. That's totally fine. You can do 2. To me, 3 is a little bit of a snowman effect. I'm not really into it at this time of year. So
Okay, can we talk about the fact that every store has Christmas stuff outside?
Oh,
I can't do it. Can we please just be in the season that we're in?
Well, you know, it's always fun when the Christmas lights come out because I actually love to use them in all of my fall decorating.
Yeah, but
because
still.
lights are all season.
Yeah, I agree. We put white lights all the time.
So then we're gonna go do another one. So
There's
let's
some in
choose.
here.
I love this one for the
For
top
the top.
one. So we're just gonna kind of pick which one we use underneath. And you can kind of play with them because some will sit better than others. There we go. And like I
taking this
said,
off.
it might be low enough. Let's see. Keep rotating it until you
until
kind
it
of
won't fall.
have that situation there. And then once again, pine straw the top. We even have some more pine straw. There we
Got
go.
it? I'm holding it.
And then there we go.
Is it
Perfect.
gonna move?
So you just keep kind of turning it. Now I'm gonna have you hold this
Yep.
right here. And we're gonna tuck some more of that moss in
the front.
underneath. Yep. Now, if you're doing this for an event, feel free to stick
Yeah, a rod
a
or something
rod
down it.
through them, but understand that anytime you cut into a pumpkin,
It will die quickly.
it will rot faster. So we're just gonna go in. Here's the issue right here, I think. And we're gonna go in and keep adding our pillow moss. How does that feel? Better?
Feels much better.
Great. Perfect.
Perfect.
So now we have this. Now we can kind of play with adding a few more decorative items that you can use in the fall. So fall leaves. These are natural leaves that are preserved in glycerin, so there's no plastic or anything like that. And they will last if you guys watched us in the winter. Me, as in Terrain Me, came out and we did a wreath with these, which was really, really
beautiful.
lovely. So feel free to take some of them and just kind of wiggle them in. They'll help stabilize it a little bit, but they also just look really lovely. I like to kind of like flip them upside down.
So the color is a little different.
Yeah. You can also take your own leaves as they're changing in the yard, put them in glycerin for a few days, liquid glycerin, and then take them out, let them dry.
Where would they find liquid glycerin? Would Michael's have that, or just online?
I would just buy it online.
Okay.
And then you have perfectly preserved forever leaves.
That's actually a great idea.
Or if you don't want to deal with liquid glycerin, which I get, buy them at Terrain.
There you go.
There you go. Perfect.
How's it feeling?
So then I'm going to take some of these really rich red colors and kind of tie that in as well. I like that it's asymmetrical. I'm just going to take this burgundy and kind of tuck it in.
Do you think it's leaning too much? Do you think we need to pillow it in the front just a little bit more?
Oh, we certainly can do that. We can pillow as much as
Okay.
we've got tons of moss. That's why it's nice to do it in an urn like this. There we go.
There you go.
Perfect. So then I'm gonna take my little beautiful ornamental, as I call it, vine, and I'm gonna start it at the top
love it.
and then just kind of trail it around. So here we go. Cute little leaves.
Oh, 'cause you can move it all around.
You can move it all around. So I'm just gonna kind of go like this. And then we're gonna create this beautiful spiral.
Kind of like a Christmas tree.
Down, and then let me just kind of look at where it's falling. So we don't want it to go too much with the same line as the pumpkin. We kind of want it to stick out a little bit. So you can move each one of these leaves, which is super fun. And you can also kind of tuck it in between some of the layers of the pumpkins. So I'm going to tuck that leaf in there. And I'm going to kind of tuck this leaf in here. And then I'm going to bring this
Doesn't want to stay.
kind of around and down right here. There we go.
It doesn't want to stay here.
Oh, that's okay. So what we'll do, there you go. You got it to
Great.
stay. And then anytime you're using something that's metal like this, the way to get it to look better is by fluffing it out.
Fluffing it out. Yeah.
So like this, that's too straight, right? So I want to just take these and kind of make it like this Virginia creeper crept up this pumpkin stack.
That's hilarious.
Right?
I love it.
There we go. There we go. Perfect.
So get creative with your planters because, I mean, something like this on either side of your door. I mean, you're used to seeing the three just dry stacked. I like the way you say that. But this just adds a whole nother element.
Then I'm going to take some of these grapevines we had left over from the porch, and I'm literally just going to tuck them in.
Got it.
So once again, mixing these natural elements with these non-natural elements is going to be kind of the thing that ties it all together.
Okay.
So here we go. And then you can even take the Virginia creeper and be like, oh, it's growing up. So there you go. You've got your perfect pumpkin stack. Super easy. Took us literally moments to make.
Moments to make, and it's very
I
different.
just found this cute little pine cone. Boop. Love it.
Perfect. Okay, before you leave, you're coming up to the house to have a little piece of apple cake.
Okay, let's do
Okay,
it.
so let's go on up. This is fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been so much fun, and I think one of my very favorite things is seeing what kind of magic Leslie can create. So thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.
I know,
Cheers. This
cheers.
smells amazing.
I know. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.